Hi friends, my name is Sam, and welcome to the shame video, the video of shame, where I get to talk to you about the fact that in 5 years, I have started 255 series. And we get to talk about my stats specifically applying to 2025, but also kind of, just in general. I am currently in the middle of 121 series. There's like two things to it where it's like, one, yes, I should be a little bit more cutthroat on like getting rid of series that I don't really think I'm going to visit, but I also need to be a little bit more honest with myself of like if realistically I'm going to return to the series. Because by the end of the year, I typically will go through my spreadsheet where I save all of the series that I start, how many books there are, who the author is, yada yada yada, when I start, when I finish, whatever. I typically will go through my large list of 255 series, and I'll go through and DNF the things that just don't really call to me, and it's always going to be on a list, so even if I want to return to it someday, like it's on a list. So like, it's not, I'm DNFing it forever, and therefore I can never change my mind. It's, flexible is the word for my series tracker. But I do need to get better at prioritizing some of the series binge, wanting to just like actually read them. So today we're going to hold me a little bit accountable. And I'm going to tell you about the fact that I started 64 series. I was doing so good for so long. I was in the 30s. I was like, no way. This is going to be such like a low series year for me because I'm like going to prioritize other things. And September through December, I read 30 series alone. Like I started 30 series alone. Embarrassing for me. I don't know how it happened. Part of it was Booktube Trick or Treat because a lot of my friends were recommending the first book in series, and so I was like, of course I'm going to pick them up. And then also I was just reading series that I was interested in. A lot of 2025 releases commonly start series, so it makes sense that I'm in the 60s, but it's not exactly where I want to be, Hi. So for my stats at the end of 2025, I am in the middle of 121 series. I am caught up on, that's so low. I'm only caught up on 35 series, which I feel like was higher last year. I feel like this year I haven't been prioritizing picking up sequels. Luckily, the sequels that I did pick up were often the end of a duology, so I finished 53 series, and I DNF'd 81 series. Like, in total of all of my years, that's where my stats are. As for 2025, like, on its own, I am in the middle. That's crazy. I have no ongoing series. Every book that I picked up in 2025, I've either DNF'd the series, finished the series, or I was caught up on the series, which feels so good. I'm so proud of that. I'm pleased with that stat. I am caught up on 18 series. I've finished 22 series, and I DNF'd 35 series out of the 64 that I started. That math doesn't feel like it maths very well. So I DNF'd more series in 2025 than I had started. So in technicalities, I'm in the red. Like I've done more good than I have harm to my major overarching series, which feels kind of baffling. But I am getting to that point of just like, I either binge a series or prioritize it or have it in content of some type of way, or I DNF the series and kind of just ignore it and walk away. I feel less bad about DNFing series than I do books. Books themselves, I'm pretty bad at DNFing, but I don't mind finishing the first book in a series and just not liking it and not feeling bad about continuing. But there's also many times where I do not like the book and I say, I might still pick up the sequel. And that is a toxic trait that I need to really work on. If you saw my video last week of my bookish awards, you already know how I feel about a lot of these sequels. I was very disappointed, very upset. It's fine. I'm telling you all these stats and then I look at the fourth one on here, which is Clown in a Cornfield, and book 4 is coming out that I didn't know was going to exist. So take one off of the finished and put it towards the caught up. It's okay. But I kicked off this year by finishing the fruits baskets, which you can't see right now, but they're there. I finally finished the manga series. There's 12 books in my collection. I have like the special bound up collection, so there's technically 2 in 1, so there's 24. What a beautiful way to start my year. I'm kind of sad that I don't have like a series that's taking me into the new year that's so special to me, but I loved and adored Fruits Basket. I will probably reread at some point, but honestly, the anime rewatch is always there for me. Love it so much. So that's how I had started off my year. I will probably at some point go through, basically the way that my spreadsheet works is that I list all of the series that I'm in the middle of, and then I'll color code how things are. So I've got low priority, ongoing, finished, caught up, DNF'd, all as different colors so that I can just kind of visually see where it's at, and then also like the little check boxes and whatnot. So I feel like at the beginning of this year, I'm probably going to go through especially the low priority things and just cut them loose if it's not the vibe anymore. 255 series is a little bit much. I don't necessarily mind being in the middle of 255 series-ish or 120 or whatever, because I do like series and I'm still reading a good 50-50 split between standalones and series. So I don't feel like it's too overwhelming, but I definitely need to work on a TBR to prioritize some of these, especially the ones that I can finish. Like in 2021, I had started 21 series, and I have not made as much progress there as I should. I'm looking at the Rachel Crawl duology. Dark Corners, Eliza told me to read so long ago that I just kind of got to get on that, you know? So things like that, I just need to go through and prioritize the things. If you saw my 26 and 2026, some of my priorities this year were put into 4 different categories. We've got 2025 releases that I missed out on, 2026 sequel releases, 2026 releases in general I'm excited about, and my final category being backlist books. Those backlist books, I think, beyond the 6 that I'd put in that category for that video, I think a lot of my backlist books are going to be going through the series that I was really excited about, was getting along with, enjoyed, but for one reason or another just wasn't able to continue in at the moment, and really prioritizing those. One that I'm really looking at is Fire and Thorns by Ray Carson. I loved the 4th book in that series without knowing it was a series, and it's a classic trilogy that I just really need to pick up. I just need to get on it. So it's definitely things like that I'm like, okay, let's prioritize some of those backlist books that I want to get to. But I also must say, a lot of the books that I had picked up in 2025, really good starts to series that I'm for sure going to be continuing in. We're also getting a lot of sequels to books that I had started in 23 or in 24. So I'm just overall really looking forward to them. And I don't necessarily want to go through like all 64 books that I started these series, because I simply don't think that you care that much. I would say, looking at the list of the 64 books series that I started in 2025, I would say a vast majority of them that I especially have not finished are romantasy. I find that I pick up a lot of romantasy, a lot of start to series, new releases of romantasy, and then I find myself really putting off their sequels and whatnot until the hype dies down. Like Brimstone just came out, and there's been a lot of mixed reviews on it, and I've yet to start it because I'm just not sure if I'm ready, you know? And so it's been a lot of those kinds of moments for me. I would say one of the first series that I started was Helen Schuer's Ashes of Thesmar. Yeah. The Ashes of Thesmar, which is the sequel to Legends of Thesmar, the Blood and Steel series that I love so much. I'm not enjoying the series as much, and so it's harder for me to push through it. And you're sitting there and you're saying, Sam, just DNF the series, but I'm a completionist. It's very contradictory to myself, where I'm like, I have no problem DNFing series, but also, what if I finished the trilogy? I get annoyed with myself too, don't worry. This year I had started a lot of series for books that I'm so very excited about. Immortal Dark, Shield of Sparrow. I finished Thrown in the Dark because that was a completed series. That was great. I've got like the Road of Bones series. Again, a lot of romantasy. Some of the series that I decided to DNF were the Memoirs of Lady Trent. I don't think they're bad books by any means. I actually think they're quite good. I just was not super into them. They're very historical memoir. The ending really popped off though, and I do applaud it for that. But if you enjoy Emily Wilde, it's kind of more that cozier historical side, not really up my alley. So I DNF'd that. I DNF'd a couple manga series or like graphic novel series. Those ones I really don't feel strong ties and connections to. I also DNF'd Her Majesty's Royal Coven. I did not like that first book. I DNF'd Bryn Weaver's series, which the name of the book is totally escaping me right now. The serial killer one though. Everybody likes it. That series though, I'm DNFing. I have no plans to continue. Butcher and Blackbird. Oh my god, it came to me. I have no plans to continue that. I've DNF'd Jen Williams, both of her series. I DNF'd the Murderbot series, and that's one of those DNFs where it's like, technically I've marked it on my spreadsheet as I won't finish the series, but realistically, they're novellas. They're really easy to read. If I need something for a readathon, it might be something I turn to. I think that I had listened to the first book in one of those periods of my time where I was not able to focus on an audiobook because like too much other stuff was going on in my life. So if I revisit it and I like it, maybe, but it's one of those things where I sometimes struggle with, was I not paying attention to the audiobook or did I just not like the book? And sometimes I put the blame on myself when really I just didn't care for the book that much, and that's okay. I need to be okay with that sometimes. But I'm not saying the Murderbot series is a never for me. I'm just saying I didn't like it enough to really want to continue. But like I said, I participate in a lot of readathons, and it's very helpful sometimes to just have a novella that fits the prompt. So that one's like a hesitant DNF, like we'll wait and see type of thing. And then we've also got Ella Enchanted, The Second Death of Locke, Blood Moon, a couple of just like books that I didn't really care for that much that I might revisit in the future, like The Second Death of Locke. I think I've talked about that in some of my end of year videos, that like once the series is complete, I might revisit it. Other things like Blood Moon, hated it. I don't need to continue. I'll just go read Twilight. It's fine. So those were basically the DNF series for the most part. I'm caught up in a decent amount, like Heavenly Bodies I got caught up in. Fate So Cold was a new release. Fallen City, new release. Fated to Fall is currently a standalone, but I put it on my spreadsheet because I'm hopeful that A.K. Kajiano will continue writing in that world, okay? So my stats, are questionable at best. I started the Heartstrings series, which is First Time Caller. The next one is going to be And Now Back to You. I'm really hoping to get that on Libby sooner rather than later. We'll have to wait and see. I started the newest I started the new Scarlet St. Clair series, which is all about like Lilith from the Bible, and I'm not really sure if that's going to be one I continue with. I talked about it in my wrap up, and I think I might have reviewed it for a vlog, but basically like the sibling relationship, sorry. It is a romantic relationship, but it felt like a sibling relationship to me. So I don't know if I'd continue. I think I might give the second book a try, and if I don't like it, I'll probably DNF the series. I also started Silver Elite, so I'm caught up on that. But I also started The Remnants of the Fallen Kingdom. I think the third book might be out, so I have to look into that. But I didn't really like the second book, so that might be a quick DNF. I started the Kingdom of Death series by Stasia Stark. I preferred the first one, which was like Kingdom of Lies, and now she has her new like Gladiator book, which I'm much more interested. We Will Survive? We Who Survive? Who Will something like that. So I think that I might DNF the series now that we're talking about it out loud. Also started the Neverlist, The Crucibles. I read both books. I've been really on top of that series as much as I do not like it. I probably will finish the third book, unless the third book is not the last book. You know what I mean? If it's a trilogy, I'll complete it. If it's not a trilogy, we're donezos. I feel that way about Assistant to the Villain. I thought the third book was the final book, and it's not, and so I'm like, Series that I had finished. This one's a fun category. I finished Persepolis. I read both volumes. This is a nonfiction memoir graphic novel. Fantastic. One of the biggest recommendations that I could probably ever give anybody ever. I think it's fantastic. I also finished The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. That was one of the series that I binged so fast. I think I finished all of the books within 1 or 2 months. Delightful. I finished Mirage and its sequel, Court of Lions. It's so sad when authors don't return to writing, but it's okay. Like I mentioned already, I finished the Villains and Virtues series. I didn't finish too many, which is unfortunate. And then I finished a lot of older series. So I didn't finish a lot of series that I had started this year, which makes sense because I'm not typically, sorry, I keep looking at the clouds because the sunset is pretty. It just looks really nice. I don't typically do a great job at like binging series within the year, but I usually will go back to series. So if you give me 2 years, I'll usually finish a series. But if you give me just one, a little less likely. Like, oh my god, I need somebody yell at me. Please yell at me to finish the Air Awaken series. I keep thinking about it every night. I'm like, I should really start the third book. And then I don't. Why? Why am I like this? I hate it. I hate it so much. Anywho, I finished a lot of duologies. The Scorched Throne series duology, Last Blood Carver, The Crimson Moth, The Mistlands, The Saga of the Unfated. Woof to all of these. Secrets of the Niles. I finished Emily Wilde. The rest of those, for the most part, so bad. Sequels, so bad. Conclusions to books, really bad. I think some romantasy authors need to go back to standalones. I think give me a standalone. Don't make it a series. Don't go in on the cash grab unless you've plotted out your book to be long enough for it to make sense. I don't want it. Give me some standalones that are really, really solid. I don't care if they're 600 pages instead of 3. Do what you gotta do. Make me a good book. Thank you. I was so disappointed by series. And yeah, that kind of wraps up my little list. I don't want to go again into every single series ever, but I guess I can tell you like my priority series that I really want to get to this year, this 2026. So the first series that I need to finish is Caraval. I did a whole video where I gave you guys like the plot recap and explained Caraval because it's one of my favorite books. I first read it in 2018 and I've read it every other year basically since then. I've read it, I think, 4 times now. It's one of my favorite books. It's one of my favorite vibes. It's a very vibe heavy story and I love the atmosphere. I don't even care about the characters. I just love the world so much and it means truly the most to me as a reader, as somebody who like found their spark of reading again through books like that. So it means a lot to me, but I have not read Finale. I really want to read Spectacular, but that's like a Christmas book. So I'm like, I keep saying that I've got plenty of time until I read Finale and then Christmas rolls around and I haven't. So that's high priority to finish the series. I also would like to finish, like I mentioned earlier, the Rachel Crawl series, which is Night Swim and Dark Corners. Easy finish. I have the 3rd book in the Daughters of the Pirate King duology, but it's the like sequel or prequel that follows the mom, and I have it. I just need to read it. So a lot of my things are like that. I would like to get caught up, and if not finished, I don't know how long the series will go, but the Singing Hill Cycle by Nevo, I've been slowly keeping an eye on the series, but then I kind of just jumped off and I would like to get back on and hopefully finish up the series because they are good. They do intrigue me. Got the All of Us Villains duology. Guys, the amount of times that I've started and said I'm going to read these books and then just don't, it's fine. All the Stars and Teeth. A lot of like older series. We're so close to finishing Lightlark, guys. I cannot believe it. I would love to get caught up on the Crowns of Nyaxia series. That's one that I'm like, why want to read Ashes? Why? I can't read the other duologies until I finish Ashes, but I also know that the 3rd final duology won't be finished until probably next year, and I don't think the next book comes out until late 2026. So I've got time. I also want to get caught up on 4th Wing. Yell at me to read Onyx Storm. I know. City of Brass is like a huge top of the list for me. I would love to finish the Grimbrose Girls duology. I need to read, it's actually on my TBR cart right now because that's how bad I need to read it. Faithbreaker to finish the God Killer series by Hannah Canner. Oh my gosh. So many good ones. I need to finish The Bridge Kingdom. What am I doing? I would love to finish Vita Nostra. I've been putting Assassins of Reality on like every TBR for literal months, if not a year. I just need to finish the duology. I think there might be a 3rd book. I don't even remember anymore. It's been so long, but I loved Vita Nostra, so I need to continue. I would love to finish the Girls with Sharp Sticks trilogy. This is a dystopian young adult novel, and I really liked it, so I would like to finish that. I would like to finish A Girl's Guide to Murder, dependent on the release of season 2 and if season 3 is gonna happen or not, but looking forward to that. This might be the year that I finish Alice in Borderlands. Whoa, crazy. It'll really depend on Lexi because she's the reason I got onto the series. And so I'll probably read 1 or 2 during Escape the Readathon if it happens. And then maybe if Halloween Weekend happens, I can finish it. We'll have to wait and see on that. I believe that's kind of it. That's kind of it in terms of like priority series. Like obviously Air Awakens, other Anathema, the recent romanticies that I've been screaming about. I do also would like to be caught up on those. But yeah, I'm just trying to read books that I know I'm gonna like, and therefore I need to read and return to the series that I really enjoyed because putting them off and then reading bad books isn't fun anymore. So I need to get better about that. So yeah, that's my short little video. Those are just kind of a little updates on my too many series. I'm trying to think if I want to redo my tracker for series or just continue it. I'll have to play around with that a little bit and wait and see what calls to me throughout the year, what feels the easiest to track. But thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'm so sorry that I've been so distracted by the clouds. If you want to leave a little cloud emoji in the comments for me, I would appreciate that. And I will see you guys in my next video. Let me know how many series you're in the middle of, and I'll see you later. Bye!